Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 18th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. It was day 41 in the house, and it was quite an eventful day. It was a very eventful night. A lot of conversation about the veto and all kinds of stuff going on. And with me to talk about all kinds of stuff is Aysha. How you doing, Aysha?
Hi, Taran. All kinds of stuff. Real classy. Real classy.
We're
Oh,
we're a
man.
classy bunch here. Well, as you know, Rachel is the HOH. She nominated Mickey, Morgan, and Vince for eviction. Lauren won OTEV. And I mentioned this could be theoretically worst case scenario for Rachel, given the fact that Lauren is the easy renom. And so if she uses the veto on her final two Vince, it puts Rachel in a tricky position to either have to, reposition and target somebody else, potentially put up an ally or somebody that she's trying to work with, or put up somebody like Kelly, who is both somebody she's trying to work with and also somebody who might go home over her targets, Morgan or Mickey. And so this is the dilemma that Lauren also faces. Lauren also does not want Kelly to go home this week. She wants Mickey to go. And so if she uses the veto, she fears that whoever the replacement is might leave. And so this is what Lauren must figure out over the course of the day. She knows she has to have some conversations about it. And so, of course, she spends the entire day sunbathing.
Oh my gosh, the priorities in this house. When you get that for the first half of the day, I'm like, "Oh, it's going to be an easy Sunday." We're going to just roll into Monday. It's just going to be a lot of personal conversations. They're having a great time, enjoying the sun rays before the backyard shuts down for whoever knows how long. But no, it was just I guess nerves and fear that Lauren has to have these conversations.
Very much procrastinating. She did later in the day say, "Oh, maybe I should have started earlier." But then she was like, "But this is the last day with the backyard, so I wanted to make sure I got some time in." But she really didn't.
Multitasking, Lauren. You could have
Yeah.
conversations outside.
No, but Asia, there's no screen to stare at while having a conversation outside.
Just stare at the waves in the pool.
So she did not do herself any favors here with how long she waited to start having these conversations. Now, there were a couple of things that happened during the day. Rachel talked to Kelly again a little bit about the iced out comment that we saw on the episode last night. Again, Kelly has been revealing a lot of information about Rachel behind her back. She has been talking about targeting Rachel. This is one of the reasons why it's actually pretty good for Lauren if Kelly sticks around. So another conversation about that. Again, further implications that Kelly would be the renom if there was one needed. Kelly basically is saying, "I didn't mean it with any ill intent," and it's like, how is that even possible, Kelly?
in in what intent did you mean it? Just I guess I
I
mean,
I thought iced out was like a normal turn of phrase. I just was saying things. I don't know. I didn't.
I can't control the things coming out of my mouth. Like, what do you expect?
Aw, man. Why do I instigate so much?
Kelly has
Uh,
main character energy, and that's why she volunteered for the block the first few weeks. And I think when she realized, okay, I'm not volunteer for the block again with Rachel, and Rachel did not bite, she's like, shoot, how do I make this about me?
Keanu also talks to Rylie. He gives him a heads up about his whole thing. If you recall, he had this whole thing where he was talking to Ashley about how he's pretending he's going to be targeting Rylie and Catherine. He's going to be doing more of that throughout the day as well. I think I actually saw some people seeing Keanu talking about targeting Rylie, and were like, "Oh, Keanu's targeting." No, he was talking to Ashley. He's lying to Ashley. But so he gives Rylie a little bit of a heads up about that. He also talks to Rylie about his long-term plans, which is a final 6 of the unexpendables, which is himself, Rylie, and Vince, plus their plus ones, which at this point would be Catherine, Lauren, and Rachel. And just like the cookout did, they will then, at the final 6, they will only ever be put on the block next to their plus ones, and then they can vote their plus ones out. He says to Rylie how they will vote out Catherine at the final 6, and Riley's like, okay.
I just don't understand how it really. I need Keanu to start explaining more of his game to people outside of Rachel and Rylie, because it's always like, where is his perspective coming from? Like, this man, Rylie, spends 80% of his day with Catherine, and you think he's just like, oh, whatever, we can get rid of her.
He has had this conversation with Rylie before. I think it was last week or maybe the week before. He had a conversation with Rylie where he was like, at some point you're going to need to drop Catherine for the unexpendables. He really thinks that's possible. And he goes and he talks to Rachel about it, and it basically implies to Rachel that Catherine is not Riley's number one. And Rachel's like, Keanu, what?
He's like, oh, maybe a couple weeks from now, like, 3 or 4 weeks from now, like, bro, like, then we can't deny it. Then she'll for sure be his number one. But right now,
she tells Keanu, you cannot tell him this, but Rylie has talked about targeting you. And this is true. Rylie has talked about this. Keanu does desperately need to know that Rylie does not like him the same way that he likes Rylie.
I was waiting for this moment. I was like, she just needs to tell him. She needs to tell him. That'll open up Keanu's eyes. He'll finally realize things will be, he can see clearly. And his response is, oh, I trust Rylie 100%.
Aysha, you sweet summer child. To think that Keanu's eyes might be opened with a single conversation.
What will it take?
The real fear here is, how long will it take for Keanu to tell Rylie that Rachel said this?
Honestly.
She says, do not tell Rylie. So, of course, he runs straight to Rylie and he says, hey, Rylie, I just want you to know, if you've ever heard anything about me, like targeting you, it's not true. I trust you 100%. Also, I don't believe anything that people tell me about you. Baby steps. We're making progress. He didn't say a name.
Right. Right. Has only had time to talk to Rachel. It's so fascinating that it's just like everyone is playing, I don't know, everyone's playing chess, which is not true in this house. We know this. Let's go. Okay. Everybody's playing checkers.
Everyone's playing tic-tac-toe.
Everyone's playing tic-tac-toe. But Keanu thinks it's like duck, duck, goose. And he's like running around. They're like, no, sit down. We just need to put an X and an O. No. I need to, hey, close your eyes. Or however you play duck, duck, goose. He's running around, sprinting around. It's just like, what are you doing? He's like, no, I can do whatever I want. Y'all are already looking at me.
Uh-huh. You guys don't understand the rules to this game, dummies. Tron X's and O's. Idiots. So that's a funny little interaction in the morning. Morgan talks to Lauren. This was very funny. Of course, the campaigns are coming for Lauren to use the veto. There was a lot of talk the night before about how they were going to convince Lauren to use the veto. They were going to be talking to Catherine to try to get Catherine to talk Lauren into using it. And they're going to try to pressure her in different ways and then hopefully get Keanu backdoored and so on and so forth. So Morgan has her own plan. She has a master plan to convince Lauren to use the veto. She gives her a heads up, hey, I want to talk to you later tonight. But hey, just be prepared to cry because it's going to be emotional.
If someone came up to me and said that, we're having that conversation right now. You're not about to let me mull over what you have to say to me for hours. And she did have to.
What are we actually doing here?
Yes, Will. What are we doing here?
She made her ice cream before the conversation, too. But don't worry. We're going to keep you in suspense. What could her master plan possibly be? We'll have to wait and see later in the night. Catherine does talk to Lauren multiple times throughout the day with some very solid arguments about why she should not use the veto. Don't use the veto. We want Mickey gone. The best way to make sure that Mickey leaves is to not use the veto. If you use the veto, we may not have the votes to send Mickey out anymore. This is important. We do have the votes to keep Vince. If you're worried about keeping Vince around, I promise you, Rylie and I are both keeping Vince. He has the votes. You should not use the veto, so on and so forth. Catherine, quite frankly, made the most amount of sense all day.
Exactly. Mind you, this is the Catherine we see when she's not next to Rylie. So it's really refreshing to see that she can have a good take. She can have a good read on the house. Yeah, you keep Vince on the block. You have more people not willing to send out Vince than whoever Rachel is going to put up as the replacement. So it is in the best interest for Lauren and Catherine. If they want to keep Vince, send Mickey home, just don't use the veto. And it's just like, I want to see more of this Catherine just far, far, far away from Rylie. Because when she's with Rylie, she can't get a word in edgewise if they're having a conversation with somebody.
No, she can't. And don't worry, Riley's got plenty of time to mess things up. Lauren talks to Rachel, and this is like the day, again, has just kind of progressed. We are now at around the time the episode aired last night. Lauren has her conversation with Rachel. And Rachel basically says, I don't really care what you do. I'm like Ava last week. I put people on the block. Now things are in your hands. Do whatever you want to do. I assume that if you did use it, you'd use it on Vinny. She's like, and so, if you want to use it, I just ask that you let me know with enough time for me to like have conversations with people before the veto ceremony so I can figure out who my replacement nominee would be. And Lauren's like, okay. She's like, do you have any thoughts about like what you're leaning toward doing right now? Right now, I'm leaning not to use it. That's what I think right now. But I don't want to say for sure. I still need to talk to some people. I haven't talked to Vince. So I just don't want to say anything for sure yet.
This is not an exaggeration. That I actually think you took the audio from the feeds and just lip synced over it. I tweeted this the other day. It's as if Lauren has a limit on the amount of words she can say. It's like, Lauren, when you go up to talk to Rachel, 20. That's the max amount of words you're allowed to say in that HOH room. She's like, okay, I got to pick carefully. It's just like, come on, girl, spit it out.
It's also a key part of my Lauren is that every time she says a name, it's painful to her.
Yeah.
That is another part. I don't know why. It's like a name is a curse word, and she is like Adrian. You know what I mean? So
and not Rylie.
no. Rachel then asks her, like, so what are you thinking in general in the game? And she goes, can I turn, I like to look at the memory wall when I talk. She changes the screen to the kitchen. So I swear, like, it's just what she does.
It's just like, you really don't want to like start parenting her, but you almost want to be like, Lauren, okay, I need you to look at me. Let's stop the focus on this screen. Because I mean, obviously, like if she's not looking at the screen, she may be looking at the ground or whatever. But it's just like, obviously just a distraction so that she can just, maybe her mind's going a mile a minute.
Listen, I have always been a multitasker. I always felt like the whole iPad kid thing was an exaggeration. Like, oh, come on. Like, this is just the new technology. We're adapting to it. Watching Lauren has made me reconsider. Maybe there's a point to the whole, maybe we should keep kids away from screens so much.
I think that's like, yeah, like you have iPad kids, then you have I think the millennial equivalent is like needing to have like a show on. Like when me and my girlfriend sit down to eat, she's like, we have to pick the show before we sit down because
obviously,
it needs to be going, because I'm not about to finish my food before we start. So
I mean, listen, you're preaching to the choir. We're live feeders here.
Exactly. Exactly.
But at least I'm not staring at it all the time. I'm just listening to it all the time.
Right. I mean, the amount of, I just keep my AirPod in my ear all day. Just
my version is better than these kids these days.
Exactly.
So Lauren goes and talks to Rylie after this, and this is during the episode, and I'm still not sure what to do, and I don't like how close that Rachel and Keanu are. I could tell that during our conversation that Rachel was saying lines that Keanu gave to her. Not really.
I'm sorry. What that is the new Eminem this week. Like, everyone thinks that everyone is giving people lines.
Well, to be fair to Lauren, he gave her lines and Vince lines just the day before. So I'm pretty sure this is fresh in her mind.
She's like, this is just what Keanu does. So he definitely gave Rachel a line. If anything, Rachel is ensuring that she doesn't say anything that Keanu is saying because she thinks it's absurd.
Also, to be fair, she does say one of Keanu's lines later in the night, but emotional intelligence. But it was facetiously.
That's the sad part, though. It's like you're in this environment where, of course, you start saying each other's words. And then it's just like, oh, you're only as great as the people around you.
I mean, I guess the plus side is that, like, it is theoretically putting more of a target on Keanu for Rachel's biggest ops at the moment.
Right.
But we'll see. But Rylie says he agrees. He doesn't like how close Rachel and Keanu are either. And he basically says you should go ahead and just use the veto, because it'll probably be Ashley or Ava that goes on the block, and who cares about them? Ashley runs her mouth all the time. So whatever.
It's like, Rylie, if you have this perspective and you and Rachel have only talked in the concept of this showmance is amazing, showmances are great, what makes you think Ava, who was HOH last week, did not touch Rachel? Ashley, who everybody thinks should be on the block, Rachel did not put her up. Like, let's start connecting some dots and stop just living in like la la land that, oh, we're here to build this relationship. Everybody else just needs to leave us alone. That's Riley's world in this house.
Yeah, Rylie just basically undoes all the work that Catherine put in during the day, and gets is the person who is the most successful at convincing Lauren to use the veto to date at this point. Like, he is like, yeah, whatever, and gets Lauren pumped up about like, yeah, and it'll force Rachel to show her cards with a renom. I hadn't even thought of that. Like, oh, this is very interesting. Oh, this is a good idea. And Riley's like, yeah, why not? And now all of a sudden, Lauren is actually considering this. She's really thinking about, what if I do use the veto? Then Mickey has a conversation with her and seemingly makes negative progress. She has a long Mickey conversation. And at this point, Mickey is really starting to fade rapidly in effectiveness, and we're going to talk about that very shortly. But she does her whole Mickey thing, and the main takeaway Lauren has from the conversation is, man, I really want her gone.
which is sad, because Mickey has not, you would have thought, okay, you go on the block, maybe let's shift some things. Let's kind of change how we're operating. Maybe go back to like the week 1, week 2 Mickey. But Mickey has not recognized that the way she has become in the house is the reason that people want her out. And so she does not have any, like, she has not made any adjustments. She still has that HOH-itis that is just lingering into the second, third week now. And it's like, she has this perspective that Rachel just made dumb decisions. She just had she tells Morgan in the day, yeah, this is the dumbest HOH to date. Girl, you sent Jimmy home. Like, it was right there.
Oh, that was a good move. Right. If not for that move, she would have been evicted by now.
It's like, Mickey, sweetie, like how you were speaking and operating before may have worked in the sense of like when you were HOH, people were listening at least, but now people can see through it, and she can't see that people can see through it, and so it's just not helping her case.
What an idiot Rachel is. She says, putting 3 targets on the block. So Keanu also talks to Lauren. She is, again, Mickey's trying to push the whole, like, you should use the veto, Keanu will go up. Then Keanu talks to Lauren and says, I'm not going up. Yeah. And he makes some good arguments about why she should not use it. You know, you don't want somebody like Kelly going up on the block. We need to make sure that Mickey or Morgan leave. Some of the enthusiasm for using it seems to die down a little bit even more. And then she goes and talks to Vince. And I mentioned this yesterday, that the first time Vince tried this, I felt like, first of all, just to make sure we are properly setting this up, Vince is Lauren's final 2. The one she has been deeply loyal to for 40 days. She has told Vince everything. She has run every decision by Vince. She begged him to tell her what to do during her HOH reign, and he basically refused to do so. It should be a given that she's using this veto on him.
Yeah, like automatic.
And really, I will say this again, too. I honestly think that all he really needs to do is say, please use the veto on me. I really need you to use the veto on me. I need you to use please. And I think she would do it. I think if he asked her with enough, like enthusiasm, conviction.
Yeah.
But instead, what he's trying to do is the sort of Weasley Vince thing, which is like, well, obviously you shouldn't use the veto on me if it's not good for your game. But I do think it's good for your game because actually, if we think about it, Kelly, the swing vote is a bad idea, and I want Kelly gone. And what if Rachel changes her mind?
The voice, Taran. The voice is spot on.
That's not working. So when he tried that with her before, it did not work. She was not convinced at all in the previous conversation. And a huge part of it was, and I mentioned this, that I felt like he was being A, too mean about Kelly, and B, just too anti-Kelly in general. It's a huge indicator to her that if Kelly does go on the block, that Kelly would leave, and she doesn't want that. We've gone over this scenario a bunch of times, but basically in Lauren's world, Vince in the game is good because he's an ally and he's after people like Rachel. And that's good for her because Rachel is an obstacle in her way of making it to the end. Kelly is also good. Kelly is somebody who doesn't have anybody in the game, who is anti-Rachel, who does seem to trust Lauren. And losing Kelly in many ways is worse than losing Vince. I don't think she sees it that way, but I see it that way. But she certainly knows that she doesn't want to lose Kelly. And she also knows that she wants to lose Mickey or Morgan, even more so Mickey, which is definitely good because they are both pretty anti-Lauren right now. So, using the veto on Vince, who is likely safe, to put up Kelly, who is likely not, is potentially a net loss. And here's the key. The reason why Kelly's not safe, or at least one of the main reasons why Kelly is not safe, is because Vince himself can't be trusted to vote out Mickey or Morgan over Kelly. And so when Vince is saying the reason he needs the veto to be used on him is because of effing Kelly, who he hates, who's been way too happy these past 2 weeks. She's been happy with Lauren, by the way, who nobody can trust because she's too much of a wild card. She's going to flip on him, and he wants her gone because she doesn't care about being here as much as he does. That's a problem for Lauren. So that's the main thing. He needs to get out of his own way and allow this to happen in the way that Lauren wants to. And she said she basically asks him straight up about this. She's like, here's the thing, Vince. I don't want to use the veto if it means that Mickey is going to stay. I think Mickey needs to leave this week. And if I remove you from the block and somebody like Kelly goes up on the block and Kelly leaves instead of Mickey, that's bad for me. I don't want that. Vince finally getting the memo is like, oh, okay. Kelly's great. I would definitely keep Kelly.
He's like, oops. That's the problem. They focus way too much on who is going to, or Vince in the situation, in his case, he's pitching, is focusing way too much on who is going to go up. You can't control that, right? All you can control is who Lauren uses the veto on. You have no pulse on who Rachel will put up. You have who you want her to put up, but you really don't know who Rachel will put up. Y'all don't have a relationship. So the fact that he did not start his case with save me or I'm going home, like, just focus on that. Like, you see, okay, you want Mickey to go home. What about me being in danger by staying on the block? Like, I think he should have focused on how he was on the block last week, and he could have been going home. Even if, everyone was talking about wanting Keanu to go home, they could have easily switched that up to be him if Zach had won the blockbuster. And the fact that she didn't feel that fear of losing Vince, and it's just like in her mind, well, if Vince stays on the block, he's good. Then there's no incentive for her to use it on you. And stop with the hand holding. It's like it's rubbed off on her, and it just, in this conversation, you have two people pleasers just trying to like, oh yeah, I don't want to do too much. I don't want you to think I'm coming off overbearing. I don't want it to seem like I'm putting my foot down. I don't want it to seem like I care about staying in this game. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he finally does basically just tell Lauren the primary thing that I think she's always needed to hear from him, which is, I will be a vote for whatever you want to have happen this week. I will vote Mickey out. And that is, I think, the key to unlocking what could otherwise be a fairly straightforward decision of using the veto on him. It's pretty wild that it came this close to it not happening in the first place, but we're talking about
Exactly.
Lauren and we're talking about Vince. But so let's just kind of, at this point, talk about the votes a little bit, because this is kind of important, right? So right now, if Mickey doesn't win the blockbuster, she's just gone. That's it. She's just gone. And in the event that it's Vince versus Morgan, Morgan is also pretty much just gone. Now, Vince is correct that there are a couple of key swing votes that if Kelly decided to do something different, or if some votes swayed, whatever. But the votes right now would be Mickey is gone if she doesn't win blockbuster. Morgan is gone if she does. If the veto is used on Vince and Kelly is the replacement nominee, things could theoretically change, because you've had, and don't worry, we'll get to this later, but you've had Ashley, Will, and even people like Ava as like fairly locked in Mickey votes up against somebody like Kelly, probably. And you could also even have, you would certainly have Vince and you would have Morgan. And just like that already, Kelly leaves over Mickey. And so if Vince is a locked in Mickey vote, if Will and Ashley remain locked in Mickey votes, Catherine and Rylie do want Mickey to go, but they also, if they saw Kelly up there, who knows what might happen. So this is the problem. However, if Vince is telling the truth and he is willing to vote Mickey out this week, then Keanu, Vince, and maybe Catherine and Rylie and Lauren can all vote Mickey out, even over Kelly. And they would have the votes to send Mickey out as long as she doesn't win the blockbuster. So Vince's vote is definitely a crucial one, especially because he likely will have some amount of sway with Rylie and Catherine to begin with, to try to like pull them in that direction, especially because another part of this conversation is that Lauren really wants to start an alliance with Rylie and Catherine and Vince, the four of them together. And so the four of them together could 1000% control this vote to evict Mickey this week, as long as Vince is truthful about being willing to send Mickey home. So with that in mind, this is why I think Lauren now feels more comfortable potentially using the veto, but she's still worried, because she's not sure that it will be Kelly that goes up on the block, nor does she want Kelly to go up on the block. She's not sure who. It could be anyone, theoretically. She hasn't heard from Rachel at all. And so she keeps talking it over, and Vince just keeps pressing. It would be really great though if you used it on me. It would be really cool. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking? And she's like, I'm just not sure. So okay, but what are you thinking now? I'm still not sure. So what do you think now? Well, I would love to use it on you, Vince. But oh, that's amazing. Oh, thank you so much. But
I love that.
But what I was gonna, but it's a little scary. I'm not sure that I should. Oh, right. What are you thinking now? I mean, I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll just use it on it. Oh my God! Thank you so much, Lauren. I was okay.
Man, Vince, nobody can have your back like yourself. Okay. Please just like advocate for yourself in this moment. If you can't get your number one, or the person who views themselves as your number one in the game, you have nobody.
This is such a great, just like example, a perfect representation of Vince's game. It's just like, this should be easier. It's just like
Exactly.
the tagline.
It should be easier, but this is Big
So this conversation continues forever. They move
Long
inside and they keep talking. And she's being delivered ice cream by Morgan, who's like waiting for their conversation. And they keep like being like, okay, we're going to end this conversation. You're going to go talk to Rachel about me maybe using the veto. I'm going to go talk to Morgan and do whatever her conversation is going to be. And they're like, okay. And then they stay for another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so what about Rachel? Will she be upset? Well, she said she wouldn't be upset, but what if she is upset? Well, she said she wasn't going to be upset, but what if she is? What if we make a deal with Rachel? What if we make a deal with her and make some kind of like little alliance deal with Rachel? And it's like, oh, that because Vinny's willing to say that would work. Yeah, I love that idea. And she's like, but then who would you nominate next week? He says like, oh, like easy, like Ashley, Ava, a third person. She's like, well, who's the third person? I don't know. I mean, I'd probably just put up Rachel. I don't know. Who cares about the deal?
He is so stuck on trying to continue to live in both worlds where he has his hands in all the pots and doesn't really have like a clear set of enemies outside of Rachel. And it's just like, Vince, you got to abandon that Mickey Morgan ship. Like, it is going down. Y'all's heads are just above water. All your perishables, everything that you owned in that boat is underwater. And he's like, but still, like, something might come up and push our boat up to the top and we could still live on to fight another day. It's like he just needs to let it go. Give Lauren what she wants. She's the one in the power position right now. And it's just this dynamic since her HOH where she needs his help on making any decision. He's just like, okay, you say you want to use the veto on me, but let's workshop it. Like, let's continue to talk about it. Just like, no. Perfect. You said you're using the veto on me. You're using it on me. Let's figure out how to navigate this because we don't know who she's putting up.
So while this conversation is continuing, Ashley and Will are talking, and this was happening during the podcast last night, and it's a little confusing. I think there's a lot of stuff we missed with other conversations happening, feeds being down. And on top of all of that, they're having the conversation outside and Ashley is stealth whispering like none other. She's
there's zero chance Will is catching every word. But he's so agreeable. He's just, yeah.
He does have to be like, I didn't hear that. And she's like, oh, okay, let me speak louder. So I think plane going overhead. Like, it's just ridiculous. But it's a very important conversation, which is very frustrating. So I have not managed to like fully lock in exactly what happened here. But here's the thing. I don't think we need to. Because we're talking about Mickey in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we are well aware of all of the things that Mickey's been doing. So the idea that one of them finally pissed off Ashley and Will is not that surprising. Which
like,
one was it? I'm not entirely sure. But one of them finally stuck.
Like, oh, it finally got back to y'all. Oh, Ashley, you're finally saying, man, we're going to look so dumb defending her to Rachel all week.
Yes. So, so basically she says like I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you about this. The feeds come in on this conversation. We already missed the thing she told him. And he's like, well, now if it's down to Mickey or Morgan, I'm not even sure what I would do. If I talk to Morgan and she tells me some of this stuff, then I'm definitely keeping Morgan. And they talk about this a little bit later. And I think that perhaps part of this was that Mickey apparently told Morgan that Will tells her everything. I think that perhaps is the thing that they're talking about here. But again, it's like Mickey has said so much stuff about Will, about Ashley, about everyone that it could be a number of things there. And once this like piece falls, the floodgates open.
Yeah.
And it's free open season on Mickey. They just start complaining about everything that she does. And they just keep going on and on, back and forth. Yes, Ashley's like, now I feel like I've been like defending her so much. I feel stupid. Like I shouldn't be doing this. She's gonna, talk to Rachel a little bit later and be like, hey, Rachel, we can talk later, but I'm not a Mickey defender anymore.
Right. I've seen the light. I have opened my eyes. And the part of this conversation that I hung on to was Will saying like, oh, so she's trying to put distance in between us and Morgan. And Will goes, girl, does Mickey need to go? It's like, not the
This is
girl.
not the mafia.
Not Will ordering a hit.
Right.
So they have finally sort of like cleared their eyes of the Mickey nonsense. And this, of course, further changes things when it comes to the vote and the veto. Because if Ashley and Will are not locked in Mickey votes anymore, then it's going to be even tougher for Mickey to stay, even up against somebody like Kelly, potentially. Now, would Ashley and Will vote for Mickey over Kelly? That's much more difficult. And given the way that Ashley was talking later in the day, I think she would still happily vote for somebody like Kelly or Rylie over Mickey still. But the more important thing is it is still not a guarantee by any means which way this vote will go. There's a lot of shifting going on all over the house at the moment.
Exactly. And it's funny because it's just kind of like they have this perspective of Kelly that she's just going to continue to be a placeholder on the block. And okay, when the blockbuster's done, then we don't have to worry about her winning because that's the only thing she wins in their eyes. But with Mickey, no one's going to see as, oh, Mickey can just go on the block every week because Mickey is doing things in the house that can cause like further like mistrust between people or whatever. I love the ongoing narrative that Ashley has like a good twin and a bad twin in the house. Whenever she has like bad reads, it's like, oh, the bad twin is in. And then the good twin came back in yesterday because the good twin realized Mickey's been up to no good.
Yeah, this tracks actually.
Yeah, because it makes no sense. Like, how do you see things so opposite from day to day?
This couldn't have come any sooner because just the night before, Rachel was talking about how she doesn't feel like she can trust Ashley anymore, and is gonna have to like not give her any information anymore. And so Ashley coming back to Rachel with like, hey, I think you might be right about Mickey, which we'll talk about that conversation a little bit later as well. Definitely needed at this point. So back upstairs, Morgan has brought Lauren upstairs. By the time they do get to the conversation, the ice cream is fully melted.
Mm-hmm.
And so the entire first portion of this conversation is just spoon scraping on the bowl, trying to scoop up melted ice cream, which was phenomenal. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Love it. I did think it was hilarious though, in that Lauren and Vince conversation downstairs. They're like, whoa, what's happening upstairs? Like I'm hearing something. And then the feeds cut to Morgan just like dancing as hard as she can. It's like, I love that we got to see what that was.
Yeah, then so when Morgan goes and talks to Lauren in the boxing gym, she's like, all right, so first of all, I just want to talk about some things, and let me just pull. She goes to pull out the M&Ms in her pocket, and realizes, oh, I've got the HOH remote still. She needs to run and put it back. She's like, oh, I was pulling out the M&Ms, and I realized I still had this, and has to run back. So here we go. Now everything is ready. Everything is set. Get ready to cry.
Finally.
Lauren, the thing I'm about to tell you is really important. And I swore I wouldn't tell anyone. Your mind is going to be blown. Okay. And it's going to be really emotional. I'm already really emotional thinking about it. And so, I just want you to be prepared. Okay. As long as okay. And I just feel like, with your veto, I just want you to be thinking about and of course, this is Morgan. This is a packed update. We don't need to, this is like 20 minutes of preamble. It's just, it's a really important, basically I was in the storage room and you talk to her a lot and it's just really important. It's a really important thing. So, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Lauren, I swore to Zach I would never tell anyone this, but he's not here. And I really think he would want us to work together. Oh, he's going to kill me. No, he's not going to kill me. But I said, listen. As far as I know, I'm the only person that knows this. Okay. Okay, here we go. Zach could have taken himself off the block. Yeah. Okay. When he won that 10K, it came with the power to take himself off the block. Okay. He didn't want to use it because he didn't want us to go home.
I could have gone up. You could have gone up.
He was one of us. He sacrificed his life to save me. And I just want to, if you're listening, I really want you to understand. She's staring at Lauren because this is the same thing as the Zach conversation. She wants Lauren to have the reaction, right? She wants Lauren to burst out. Oh my God, Zach did that for us. And meanwhile, Lauren is just like,
just shock.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Lauren. So now you understand why I'm literally not okay. Oh my God, Morgan. Whoa. Because it's he literally sacrificed himself. It's been killing me. Wow, I can't believe it, Morgan. Wow, what? Yeah, Lauren. She really thought they were going to be sharing ice cream, crying together over this.
At what point have you ever seen Lauren show any ounce of emotion past this point? It's she wants to pull that out of her to show that Zach's crush on Lauren was worth it. Lauren reciprocated it. She cared about him more than Morgan did. So then it'd be worth it that he made this sacrifice for the both of them. And it's just Lauren's probably thinking, man, that's so dumb. He did not use that power.
Yeah. She's like, listen, I know it's a lot. I know it's so much, Lauren. She's like, yeah, that's crazy. I know I've been really struggling with this. That's why I was so upset. It wasn't because I was picking between the two of my best friends. It was because I knew he had done this. Lauren. I knew he had done this, Lauren.
That's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
That's so insane. Lauren could not buy a tear.
So what I'm thinking is that you should use the veto on me because I would like to welcome you to Morgan's funeral. Like, she really thought she was doing something.
She did. That's when Lauren does not have a lip quiver. That's when you abandon the script, because you cannot commit to this, because she did not care in the same way that you did.
I just feel like Zach really would have wanted us to be working so closely together. And I want you to know, I go home if I stay on the block. So like, I really feel like you should use the veto on me. And Lauren is like, oh, I don't think you go home. No, Lauren, I 100% go home if I stay on the block. Lauren's like, I don't know. I've been talking to some people and like, maybe, I don't know, maybe you should talk to Lauren. 100%. I go home if I stay on the block. I need the veto. Well, it's like, okay, well, let's say I use the veto on Vince. No, on me. Let's say I use the veto on Vince, and then that's now one guaranteed number for you in a vote. Would that be better? No, because I'm going to go home anyway. Lauren, I need the veto to be used on me. It's really important. Like, we really need to lock this in. And honestly, at this point, like, I'm not even like going after Rachel anymore, because that was all just one big misunderstanding anyway. And so but they're going to vote me out. I need the veto, Lauren. So, okay, but let's say I use the veto on Vince.
So like, but wait, Lauren, I mean, Morgan, I hear everything you're saying, but do you want me to use the veto on Vince or not use it at all? A or B?
Morgan, after like 5 rounds of that, is like, I'm getting the feeling like you want to use it on Vince. And I mean, I guess if you really want to do that, that's fine, but I want you to know I will go home.
Okay.
But if I did use it on Vince, he would vote for you to stay. So this goes on for a while, of course.
Meanwhile,
in the meantime,
I was trying to find Zach's tweet. He said,
oh no.
Yeah, and it had to be in the context of this conversation, because he goes like, well then, but of course I can't find it for the life of me, his Twitter. Let's see. I don't know if anyone. Okay, it basically was like, well then, or wow. It was something to the extent of just he couldn't believe. But it was around this time. The chat is confirming it was during this. He said, well then.
Yes. I think Sam might have pulled it. Let me see if we can.
Well,
it's a little tiny.
Hashtag BB27. Zcorn_29. That's what it is. Why didn't I know that?
Zach has been funny on social media. He's very much sort of embraced the my people were a little weird.
Yeah, exactly. Well then.
So while this is happening, Vinny is doing his part of their plan, which is talking to Rachel and saying, hey, Rachel, I'm getting the sense from Lauren like she's considering using the veto now. And I don't think Rachel like fully believed him at this point. But they go on to not really talk about the veto and instead do their typical thing, which is why haven't we been working together? It just feels like we're not getting on the same page. And Rachel's being like, well, because you lied to me all the time. And he's like, yeah, I do set myself up like that. Yeah, I do.
Oh man, why do I instigate so much?
I'm so silly.
And at one point, I don't remember what started. She was like, for a super fan, you should really know better. And he was like, oh man, my credentials as a super fan are gonna be so blown up when people. I mean, I didn't even watch Dan's season. And she's like, you didn't watch Dan's season? It shows.
Would he say who's Taran?
Who knows?
Probably.
I would hope so at this point.
True.
So they have this funny conversation. Now, while this is happening, Will and Ashley go and talk to Morgan about some of their Mickey stuff. And they start telling Morgan about some of the things that Mickey's been saying. Because basically it's like it starts with Ashley first, and then Will joins. And they're basically like, yeah, honestly, we're not locked in votes for Mickey because she's been doing all of this stuff. And this seems to unlock even in Morgan this sort of like, wait, people don't like what Mickey's been doing? I didn't like what she's been doing either, but I thought everyone else liked it and she was my best friend. But now that you mention this, she did yell at me the other day for being too negative, and then she also like didn't let me eat dinner one time, and then also like she said something about like how like I should be on the block if and I don't and she starts going off and she's like, whoa.
She's like, actually, I can't stand her. That point was like Mickey did go off on her about speaking life into her game, and don't even consider that you could be going out. And it's just like it's funny because it's like Morgan is in this moment recognizing how she truly felt in that moment, but she's like, I can't acknowledge that because everyone likes Mickey. I like Mickey. Mickey's my best friend. Mickey's my everything in this game. I like, and so it's just like the veil is just being taken off of everybody's eyes today.
And it gets to the point where Morgan is like, I think I would vote out Mickey over Vince for sure at this point. It's this is a significant development because Morgan is creating a like, this is actually the best thing Morgan's done for her game in ages. Like being able to actually work with Will and Ashley moving forward is phenomenal for her. She is anti-showmance right now. She is working with people that she has a much better chance of beating in endgame competitions than her previous allies. She does still have the connection to Vince. Like, if Morgan stays this week, she could be in a decent position again because of this happening right here. And so this is something to watch out for sure. I do think that it in many ways could require Mickey leaving, maybe not. Mickey has been so defanged at this point. Who knows what happens with her, but either way, a significant development, and again, very impactful for the potential votes this week.
Yeah, and really it's like this Mickey Morgan, like everyone's starting to view, I mean, they've been viewing them that way, but to cut that off and no longer have to be referred to as Mickey and Morgan, like that gives Morgan new life in the game. Like, I think she's not on the top of anyone's priority list as long as Mickey goes this week.
Now, this is a flash of anti-Mickey sentiment. It could very well be washed back over if Mickey gets her hands on her again. But interesting thing to note for sure, could be a significant development. So Lauren finally talks to, and listen, we are already an hour in. There's still so much that happened. Because Lauren then finally talks to Rachel, and it's like 1 a.m. About how she actually is now leaning toward using the veto. And Rachel's like, are you serious?
Girl, you had all day.
Literally, the one thing I asked you was like, give me time to talk to people after you make your decision, and you're telling me at like 1 a.m. And Lauren's like, I'm sorry, I'm just not sure. I just needed to have conversations. And Rachel's like, it's fine, Lauren. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
And it's all because of her and Vince, which they talked about at length during their long conversation, was how scared they are of Rachel, how scared they are to talk to her. Lauren was like, I'm too afraid to do anything on my own. I can't do this by myself. And Vince, you're not by yourself. And so it's just kind of like, now knowing that mindset of any time, now watching them interact with Rachel, I'm like, oh, they're just scared.
Mm-hmm. So after this, Rachel talks to Keanu. Is like, apparently Lauren wants to use it now. He's like, what? That's not what I thought was happening. And Rachel's like, oh, I mean, I need to, like, now we need to talk about replacement nominee. Obviously Kelly is the primary option here. But Rachel is kind of like, I really don't want to waste my HOH week on Kelly. Like, if I have to name a replacement nominee, maybe I need to do something that would blow up the house. And he's like, what do you mean? Who would even blow up the house at this point? She's like, I don't know. What? Like, it's not like you're gonna do like Ashley or, like Will or Ava. And if it's not Kelly, it's not me. No. It sounds like you're gonna do Rylie. Rylie? Rachel, you can't do Rylie. You can't do.
Use the veto.
No, I wouldn't do Rylie. I wouldn't do. I'm just kidding.
And now all of a sudden, I really want Lauren to use the veto.
So now Keanu has been kicked into like third gear, and he runs and tries to find Lauren. Like, Lauren, you really can't use the veto. In the meantime, Ashley talks to Rachel about this development as well. Rachel also implies to Ashley that she might be willing to do something bigger. And now Ashley is all of a sudden like, well, first of all, I'm with you on the Mickey stuff a little bit more, but wait, Rylie?
Yeah.
And so so then Ashley finds Lauren and is like, so about that veto.
Yeah.
Because she would love for Rylie to go up on the block.
Mm-hmm. And which it's kind of it's interesting because I'm wondering the angle. Like, if this is truly something that Rachel is considering, I'm wondering the angle that she's going to take with Rylie and Catherine as a reason why. Is it just like, oh, Rylie, you've won the blockbuster before, you could do it again. I wanted to put up someone who would win the blockbuster.
Who knows at this point? There's a lot still up in the air, but we will see. This is the indication that Rachel gives here to both Keanu and Ashley. They go talk to Lauren. Then Rachel comes down and finds Lauren in the storage room talking with Morgan and Vince. And they were talking about like the veto stuff a little bit, and Rachel seems to sort of interpret what they're doing as like, okay, they have clearly been cornering Lauren all day to try to push her into using this. Lauren has been so timid about this whole thing. She seems on the verge of tears when she's talking to Rachel. Now, we know it's because she's terrified of Rachel. But Rachel seems to be interpreting this as like they have been really pressuring her into doing this for them. And so she's like, what's going on in here? And they're like, no, we're just chatting. And Rachel's like, Lauren, like, what are you thinking? What's going on? She's like, I don't know. And then Lauren just kind of like books it out of there. And Rachel's like, real classy, guys. Real classy, guys. And walks out, and they're like, what, Rachel, what do you mean? What are we doing?
No.
She's like, you're going to pressure a 22-year-old girl into doing what's best for your games. You're going to make her cry, and just goes off on them.
It was hilarious because when she walks into the storage room, it's with a purpose. It's not like, oh, I came in here to get some chips. No, I came in here to see what y'all are talking about, and I'm just going to stand here and then address my concerns.
It's like it's like she caught them doing like a cult ritual, like with her daughter. You know what I mean? Like they staring at her like deer in headlights. Like we weren't doing anything bad.
I mean, like we're on the block, and so I mean, of course, we would ask her to use the veto if we're on the block.
So they get into this altercation. Keanu gets involved. Keanu's like, Rachel, what are you doing? I don't think they were doing it like that. And he's got to like try and figure things out. And Keanu's like, I'm cleaning up. Who's the messy one now? Jeez. And trying to get Rachel to apologize to Vince because that's not what they were doing. And she does eventually apologize to Vince. It's like, hey, I'm sorry. I misinterpreted what was happening. I just really didn't like the idea of you pressuring Lauren. And Vince is like, it's fine. You know, like I'm fine. Like and listen, I'm not coming for you at all. I know that if I ever put you up on the block, Keanu would snap me in half. And she's like, well, you know, I can also snap you in half. I don't need to rely on Keanu to protect me. He's like, oh, yo, for sure. Yeah, you totally could.
He's like, no. He's thinking like, yeah, oh, I 1000% believe that because I'm terrified in this moment.
But he uses this to talk to Lauren and be like, now she's definitely gonna try to get me out. Now you have to use the veto on me. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm just not sure. She is still leaning toward using the veto, but she still wants to sleep on it. She still is not 100% sure what she wants to do. She's definitely leaning in that direction though.
Was her conversation with Ashley after this where her and Ashley go into the wine room and she's like, oh, why can't I be more decisive like Catherine and just say I'm not using the veto?
I feel like she talked to Ashley before Vince.
Yeah. Okay.
But there was a lot happening. I don't recall exactly.
Right. But it's just hilarious because, hey, you can say that, but also it's just like, I don't know. It's your number. If she wouldn't, that means she just wouldn't use it on anybody if she's not willing to use it on her number one in this situation. But that's what she just can't. Someone's going to be mad at her. She just wants to make everybody happy.
So when Rachel and Keanu talked again, they did talk about how they need to try to get the veto to not be used in the morning. So they are planning to do that. They're going to double team. Keanu's going to work on Vince, which is not going to do anything. And Rachel is going to work on Lauren. Now, what could work is if Keanu just filibusters with Vince while Rachel spends all of her time with Lauren to convince Lauren not to do it. But then Keanu just keeps going like, all right, we'll be good cop, bad cop. And Rachel's like, no, that's not what we're... That's all right. That's all right. Good cop, bad cop.
He's just like the annoying little neighbor that you adore, but oh, here he comes knocking on my door again. I'll entertain him, I'll play, but like, oh my gosh. It's just at this point, he's her annoying little brother that, you know, she's kind of stuck with in this situation. And there were multiple moments throughout this day that I was like, Rachel, it's time to call it. Call it on this alliance with Keanu because he doesn't know what he's doing. Even when you try to talk sense to him, he's like, okay, but give me some credit. Like, as a new player, give me some credit because he really thinks he's running around here doing stuff.
He does.
It's tough.
So Rachel does talk more with Ashley as well, and they finally get into it about the Mickey stuff. Ashley opens up and says, like, I'm sorry, I've been defending Mickey. I've learned some things today. I really think that she's no good. And they start talking more and more about Mickey and complaining together about all the things. Again, very important for the development of their relationship, of Ashley's game. This was the less dramatic thing that happened yesterday, but
Yeah.
this is probably more important in terms of like long term where this game goes. They now seem to be back on the same page. While Rachel has hinted at the Rylie nomination, it does seem like the Kelly one is a little more likely still. I imagine that the plan today will be for Rachel to A, get Lauren to not use the veto, B, if she still is going to use the veto, try to see if she can get her own allies to be willing to keep Kelly in the game. And if that is the case, then maybe nominate Kelly. If not, maybe she will nominate, just screw it and nominate Rylie, which would be not great for her game.
Right. Keanu would be upset. I mean, he wouldn't abandon her, but it kind of leaves her with very limited allies.
It's a tough spot because it means that now Rylie, if he stays, is probably gunning after her. And if the wall is coming up, which we think it is, and he has been the most likely winner of the wall for a little while, that could be very bad. But then even if he does get evicted, it leaves Mickey and Morgan both in the game together. For as much as Morgan has sort of turned on Mickey now, if Mickey stays and they're able to still link up with Vince, Vince now has Lauren and Catherine, who's pissed off that they sent Rylie out. All of a sudden, that entire group and side of the house is solidified potentially against Rachel, and maybe even, you know, Ashley and Will and Ava. Like it could get very bad very quickly if this happens in that way. I get Rachel's instinct of wanting to go big here, but this could be very dangerous.
Right. Like you can go big, but to go big in every direction is a little terrifying for your game. Especially like thinking that like a Morgan, Vince, Lauren are probably top contenders for the wall. Maybe even Catherine.
And the thing too is, and not that Rylie can be trusted, and he is a massive problem that needs to leave. And if there's a world where Rachel can pull Mickey and Morgan back to her side in any serious capacity, you know, maybe there's something that could work there. But given how we know Mickey is and the way she's talked about Rachel, it just doesn't seem feasible. I do think Morgan could be pulled back over, but can she be pulled back over if Mickey stays in the house as an anti-Rachel force? That's kind of the problem. And so it just feels like the better play here is very likely Kelly. Try to keep Kelly in the game. And quite honestly, even if Kelly does leave, like that's not the biggest loss considering Kelly is after Rachel.
Right.
So then if Morgan or Rylie wins the wall this week, Rachel is probably okay, or at least has a much better chance of being okay than any of the other results. So I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot to sort of get into, even just in the morning today, leading into the veto ceremony, what the replacement will be. Will there even be a replacement? Will they be able to talk Lauren into not using this? There's all kinds of things. I think the biggest thing that they should do is recruit Catherine here. At the very least, let her know what's happening with Lauren and the veto, because Catherine, I think, has been the most impactful for Lauren to not use it. She gives Lauren the best advice.
If they could pry her away from Rylie.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, I think that something like Ashley leaking to Catherine, like, hey, I think Rylie could go up on the block. And then Catherine telling Rylie, and then both of them being to Lauren, you can't use the veto. Rylie might go up on the block. We'll be pissed if you use it. And then after the fact, you can be like, Ashley doesn't know what she's talking about. Ashley runs her mouth all the time. It would never have been you, Rylie. Like, you know, something like that could definitely work, I think. But, you know, that's a lot to do. And sometimes the veto ceremony is very early. Sometimes it's a bit later, and it kind of often depends on what you know,
People want to happen.
yeah, people. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think I'm gonna put my guess out there. I'm guessing she won't use it because I think she'll think she will have the least amount of people mad at her if she does not use it. So, but like you said, it's if the veto ceremony happens as they're waking up, or if it's at 4 p.m. this afternoon.
Listen, I have not been great at predicting these particular house guests. So I will start with that caveat. My prediction is I think she does use it. I think she uses it on Vince, and I think Kelly goes up as the replacement. That is what I think is going to happen. But, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows at this point?
Oh, gosh.
All right. Anything else to bring up, Aysha?
Yeah, there was a moment that Vince he finally embraced his curl pattern.
Yes.
Morgan helped him with his curls, and it looked good. Why is he straightening his hair and hiding it under a beanie?
Listen, this has been a big for a lot of people have a lot of problems with Vince. I think that the biggest problem I've seen consistently with Vince is what the hell is he doing to his hair?
It's like, okay, I get it if you don't know what to do, but it actually was a good look for him. And I think it's at a good length for I don't even know what he's going for. Just cut it.
He's
if you're
going
just gonna
for hide it in a beanie, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I have wild and like you look at my hair right now, right? Like it's pretty. I slept on it. I'm sorry, I don't treat it well enough. I don't wear the bonnet. It's too annoying when I try to sleep. But you know,
it works for you though.
Thank you. I understand the struggle, but what straightening it is more work, and you're just damaging your hair for no reason.
For no reason, just to see a little few hairs by your neck.
On anyway, like what are we doing?
Oh, he just needs the help because I think even with the mustache, that works for his face. If he can get his curls going, I think it would look. That would be a great look. You don't need a beanie on in the summer in LA.
I agree. But you know, here we are. All right. Anything else?
I believe that's it. That was my one little rant.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you today then. Stock Watch Roundtable tonight. The survey will be dropped after the veto ceremony once we know who the replacement nominee is or will be, or if there is one. So stay tuned for that tonight. You can also, of course, find my book, Behind the Mirror, on taranarmstrong.com. And also, Australian Survivor versus the World just started. And over on my Patreon, I'm doing a full episode watch through of every episode of that season with Parvati and Sari and Tony. Very fun stuff over there.
And our good friend Lisa.
Yes, exactly. I'm very excited about Lisa.
Yes.
So check that out. Of course, there's the Stock Watch. We also have a little special thing here. Survivor 47 talks BB27. He's some Survivor players talking Big Brother. Who could that be, Aysha?
Yeah, so I'm just getting with my friends tomorrow. We will be live on the RHAP YouTube channel. So come listen to me, Teeny, Andy, and Gabe talk about Big Brother 27. We had a great trip with like a lot of our cast to Detroit a few weeks ago. And something that we had a lot of fun doing was talking about Big Brother 27. That was the particular weekend that Rachel wanted, quote unquote, Ava to go. So we were just like, oh my gosh. But we had such a great time talking about it that we're like bringing y'all into the group chat. And we're going to just talk about what we're thinking about this season.
All right. Well, looking forward to that. We also have a perfect match recap going on.
Yes. So right there is where you'll see QT, and that's probably the only spot you'll get to see QT on Perfect Match Season 3 finale. Me, Kirsten McInnes, and Jason Reed talked about the finale. So you can catch that on the RHAP YouTube channel, as well as the Love at First Sight feed, as well as the Hot Dummies on Islands feed. We had a great time talking about this season. So go check it out.
All right. And of course, the slop will be on tomorrow for patrons of Rob as a Podcast. All the sloppiest details in the world of Big Brother at the moment with Chappelle. And then the live shows in New York and San Francisco for the patrons. The tickets are on sale and the seats are going quickly, is what I'm hearing. So make sure you get those in if you are a patron of Rob as a Podcast and you want to check out the live show. And that is it. That is what we have for you. Again, Stock Watch tonight. Check out my Patreon for the Australian Survivor versus the World stuff. And man, we'll see what happens today. I'll, of course, be back tomorrow to let you know all of the stuff. Could be a lot, could be a little, could be a ton. So stay tuned for all of it. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.